You may fire when ready, Fenneman.
Practically ready.
And I'll fire you when I'm ready, huh? Yeah. And keep your trap shut. Oh, I'm doing a show next Wednesday. I'm doing a show next Wednesday, which will be broadcast on Thursday. It's the American Cancer Show, and I'm going to MC the show, and I want you to listen to it. And send him some money, too. Send me some, too.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Friday, I'm doing the Jolson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is wall. W-A-L-L.
Really?
You bet your life. Elgin American, creators of America's most beautiful compact, smartest cigarette cases, finest dresser sets, present Groucho Marx in the Elgin American show, You Bet Your Life. The comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here's that sterling Elgin American, the one, the only...
Groucho! Somebody mentioned Groucho Marx? Why, that's me, Groucho! Thank you. Well, tonight we have $1,500 for one of our couples, George Fenneman, who's placed to try for it.
Well, just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected a boy about to be married and a grandmother. And here they are. Mrs. Thelma Burrows and Don McDuff meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for Elgin American Compacts. And if you say the secret word at any time we're talking, you'll each win a 16-millimeter Apollo Sound movie projector. That clear? Fine. It's a common word, something you'll find around the house. A boy is going to get married and a grandmother, eh? I imagine you're the boy that's going to get married, huh? And I wouldn't be surprised if you turned out to be the grandmother, huh? Don McDuff, huh?
Aye, sir.
You know relation to Leon McDuff, huh?
No.
Pretty sick of that joke, too, I'll bet, huh? Like me, they always used to say, well, hello, Marx. Marx him up and Marx him down. Fellow used to say that and thought he had a wonderful joke, huh? I finally shot him, Don, how old are you?
30.
13?
No, 30.
I thought maybe you'd just been bar mitzvahed or something.
Well, don't paint me too young.
I see we have a house full of Arabians tonight. Where are you from, Don?
I'm from Scotland.
Oh, from Scotland, huh? Well, it's a long way from Arabia, huh?
It's a pretty place.
It might be pretty. My brother Chico's in Scotland right now, you know. He's playing over there in vaudeville. In fact, I sent him a wire. His birthday was last week, and I sent him a wire. I said, Chico, apparently there is more money in the bonny banks of Scotland for you than there is in the banks of America. It wasn't very funny, but I couldn't think of anything. Anyhow, he's in Scotland, and he can't get at me at the moment. Whereabouts in Scotland are you from, Don?
Glasgow.
Glasgow, huh? That's the biggest city there, isn't it?
Aye, sir.
Do you remember that song? I belong to Glasgow, good old Glasgow town. For there's something the matter with Glasgow, for it's going round and round. And I'm only a common old working chap, as anyone can see. But when I get a couple of drinks on a Saturday, Glasgow belongs to me. You're on the threshold of matrimony, I understand, Mr. McDuff, huh?
Aye, sir.
Aye, sir. That's you, huh? I'll put my sailor coat on, and you can say aye, aye, sir, if you want. And how old is your intended bride?
24.
24, at a very nice age. And where is she tonight?
Well, I think she's in New York City.
How do you know, huh?
I don't know for sure.
Well, what made you say you thought she was a New Yorker?
Well, the last time I heard from her, she said she was.
Oh. She might have grown desperate and gone to Brooklyn.
She couldn't get that desperate.
Grandma, Thelma Burroughs, huh? You're no relation to Abe Burroughs, are you, huh?
Oh, I'd like to be, but
Would
I
you?
really am not.
Well, the next time I see him, I'll certainly bring the matter up, huh?
Thank you, Mr.
Now, there are a lot of boroughs in Manhattan, you know. There are 5 boroughs. Are you related to any of those?
Well, I would like to be there, but I'm not.
And there are a lot of boroughs in Missouri. Are you related to any of those?
Could be the Chestnut Boroughs.
Oh. Are you related to any of those boroughs, huh?
Yes.
Well, you don't care who you're related to, do you?
Just so I'm related.
I see. Huh? Well, that's not related to anything we're talking about. Now, Don, do you think you look as pretty as Grandma after you've been married? How long have you been married, Grandma?
Well, in 1926, maybe 29 years.
Maybe, huh?
I mean, 23.
When will you know for
23.
sure, huh?
On June the 12th.
June the 12th.
Then it will be that long.
Yeah. Do you think you'll be as pretty as Grandma when you've been married 26 years? Huh?
Seems much prettier than me right now.
I didn't know the Scotch went in for that kind of stuff. I thought...
We have our moments.
Well, I should see. You have your moments, but I only have a half hour here. Grandma, how many children do you have?
Only one daughter, but she has 2 children. So we have 2 grandchildren, a little girl, 2, and a little boy called Icky. He's 5.
He's called Icky?
Icky.
Why, is he a dirty feeder? That's not a very endearing name for a little boy, is it, Icky? Yeah?
But his mother didn't like the name of Harold, and he's Harold Jr.
Oh, I see. And she thought Harold was Icky, so she calls him Icky. Well, there is a Harold Ickes, you know.
Up here.
Quite a fella, too, huh? How many times have you been a grandmother?
Just twice.
Just twice, huh? You have a kind of a West Virginia accent, is it? Or Virginia, or Carolina, or what?
Well, it's a mixture of the 3 states you've just mentioned.
Uh-huh.
I've lived in all 3 states until the last 5 years now.
Uh-huh. Well, you're sort of a border case, huh?
Yes, I know.
Do you think you could equal her record for progeny after a few years?
Well, I'm willing to take my chances.
You'll have to get her out of Brooklyn, you know, huh? Grandma, what does your husband do?
Oh, my husband is an ex-GI. At the present time, he works in leather work. He's a disabled ex-GI.
I see. In the last...
yes, in the last World War.
He saw action overseas?
Yes, sir.
Or did you disable him?
Now, Groucho, I didn't do that.
No, was he seriously hurt or just...
Well, he has to recuperate 3 more years before he can work.
I see. Well, I wish him Godspeed, and I hope he has a quick recovery, huh?
Thank you.
Now, how did you meet this hero?
Oh, how did I meet him? Well, I was working for the Missouri Relief Commission, and we went out. I had 12 people. We called them a flying squadron. We were going around to men's work camps to see if they needed to continue work. He was a captain there. And this was in, as I say, the Ozark Mountains of Missouri. Mm-hmm. And at that time, a snow came
I used to hunt quail there.
You did? Well, we saw some quail. Mm-hmm. And we were snowbound and had...
You probably saw the same quail I was hunting.
About the same time, yes, sir. And we were snowbound there.
You were snowbound with a quail? Huh?
Yes. No, with 300 men in a work camp.
You were snowbound with 300 men?
Yes.
You call that being snowbound?
Yes. But we didn't mind it because...
I'd say you were haybound, huh?
We didn't
Well,
mind...
anyhow, what happened? I didn't mean to interrupt you so much.
We got to stay in the 4 walls of the captain.
You said something. Grandma, you said the magic word. You said wall, and that's the secret word for tonight. That means you each win an Apollo 16mm sound movie projector. Not only that, you could walk off with a $1,500 question tonight. Now, let's get back to business, huh? You were snowbound in the Ozarks
yes,
the last...
Yes, in the opposite quarters.
You were in the officer's quarters, huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, am I mixed up? And what happened?
Well, I was in an upper bunk. I fell out the first night, hurt my toe, and then I had to be carried to the mess hall on an improvised sled. Well, you'd say pulled on it, I guess. That's a Virginian
I wasn't going to say anything, huh?
But they laughed. And this captain would pull the sled. I don't know why he didn't give it to somebody else to do. I didn't then know, but I later found out.
Uh-huh.
And after we left there in 10 days and went on to St. Joe, why, he followed us. And
you
know
were with
the old
St. Joe at
story.
the time,
Yes. St. Joseph, Missouri.
Oh, I see. And?
Oh, well, and 5 months later we were married. And that's how then happened the child, and the grandchildren. That's why I'm a grandma.
Well, that's it. That's a logical way it works out, huh? What happened to all the snow? Do you remember, huh?
Oh, it went away in time for us to leave in 10 days.
Mr. McDuff, when are you going to be married?
In June.
In June. And what strange motive do you have for this folly, huh?
I'm in love.
What was that?
I'm in love.
Oh, I see. How do you know you love this charmer?
I have a funny feeling inside of me, and I can't get her off my mind.
That could be indigestion, you know. What sort of work do you do, Scotty?
Well, I'm going to establish myself in the liquor business here. I was going to study law, but I think there's more money in liquor cases.
Your theory is that there's more money in bottles than in battles, is that it? Now, you're going to open a retail liquor store?
No,
Wholesale? You're just going to run it, huh?
I'm going to sell to the stores.
Or sell to the stores, huh? Now, how did you meet the lady of your choice?
I met her in London at a canteen, and another chap and I had a few drinks, and they were sitting right across the table from us.
Were you in the service then?
Oh, yes.
In the Scottish regiment?
I was a member of the RAF then.
Oh.
And we were having a few drinks and feeling pretty good, and there was this whack and another girl there, and we sort of motioned to them if they'd like to join us, and they did, and it turned out to be a very merry foursome from then on, and we found out that they were very charming girls, and I certainly want to make her my future wife.
Mm-hmm. And what about the other couple? Did they...
They also got together.
They... Well, that can be fun, you know. First time my wife saw me, I was on the screen. So she opened the window and let me in. Well, you're both very nice kids, and I have the ideal gifts for you. For Don McDuff, here's your beautiful Elgin American cigarette case and lighted a match in jeweler's bronze.
Just what I want.
Just the thing for a wedding present. And for Grandma Burroughs, here is your gift. Elgin American's beautiful Venus dresser set in jeweler's bronze.
Thank you. I wanted one. My husband gave me your compact for Christmas.
Your
Not
husband?
the one you used, Groucho, Marks, but he bought me one to use for
bought you,
myself.
and, you like it?
This is lovely. Oh, I love it.
You love
Beautiful.
it. And what's the most important advice you can give a young man who's about to marry a belligerent Bobby Soxer?
Well,
Grandma?
I really think they should have something in common
Uh-huh.
and do things together always.
You'll get nothing out of me on that. We've been raided too often, huh? Well, I must say that your husband must look pretty funny in a beauty parlor sitting with his head under a dryer. Especially if he's bald. Now, I can just see the two of you trying on house dresses at Sears Roebuck together. Mr. McDuff, let's get some of your ideas on married life. For example, after you're married, how many nights a week would you like to be out with the boys?
Oh, not many, just 2 or 3.
I see. And Grandma, how many nights a week do you allow Grandpa to be on the town?
Every night, as many as he wants.
I hope you're listening carefully, Mr. McDuff. Grandma, why doesn't Grandpa go out by himself in the evening?
Well, he just won't.
He won't, huh?
I wish you would sometime.
You do?
You get so tired of having him around.
Even with the compact?
Yes.
What do you think your bride would say if you brought home a friend unannounced for dinner, Mr. McDuff?
She wouldn't mind. She likes surprises.
Oh, I see. I hope you like surprises. You're in for one, huh? Grandma, did your husband ever bring anyone to dinner without notifying you first?
Only once, sir.
And what happened?
Well, he never repeated it.
You remember that, Mr. McDuff, huh? There's only one man I know who can safely bring home a friend for dinner without first calling his wife, and he's a cannibal. Now, Grandma, what was your most embarrassing experience?
Oh, my most embarrassing experience.
Outside of that time when you were snowbound.
Well, this was when I was teaching school my first year.
Were you a school teacher?
Oh, yes, sir.
Is that so?
Yes, sir. And then I was teaching...
Why did you quit?
Oh, I was... Well, I didn't quit. I still teach sometimes.
Oh, do you?
Yes, sir.
What do you
Have
teach?
to.
Just general everything?
Just everything. College English.
College English? How does that differ from basic English?
Well, it's very different.
It is.
Yes, sir.
Well, what was your most embarrassing
Most
experience?
embarrassing moment was when I was teaching the third grade. This morning, one little boy didn't show up. I was all worried because he was to be in the program. Finally, I saw his mother coming in. And I said, Lawrence, why didn't you come to school? And
The mother's name was Lawrence?
The little boy's name was Lawrence. He had never been late and had a perfect attendance all year.
Mm-hmm.
So he looked a little embarrassed and hung his head. So I told him to have a seat. And then I asked the mother why he didn't want to come. She said, well, he said that if he came to school and was going to put on that brownie suit, that you'd make him take off his clothes. I told him, no, you wouldn't. But he said to me, he says, well, Mother, yes, she would. You don't know that woman like I
do. Was this on the Sunset Strip, or was this... Don, do you think after you're married, your bride will be jealous?
She won't have anything to be jealous of.
You don't? Well, what do you suppose she'll say if you ever come home with lipstick on your collar?
I won't come home with lipstick on my collar.
Where will you go? Huh? Grandma, what would you say if Grandpa came home with lipstick on his collar?
Oh, he wouldn't have lipstick. It would probably be ketchup.
Ketchup, huh?
Yes.
Don't be so sure. It might not even turn out to be Grandpa. Huh? Now, in just 1 minute, you'll play the Elgin American game for $1,500. You bet your life. But first, George Fenneman.
Have you looked at your compact lately? Well, that dress-up day of days, Easter, is just a week from Sunday. So, of all things, don't let a battered, dingy compact spoil your Easter look when a new, first-in-fashion Elgin American will complete your smartness so beautifully. So reasonably, too, for such individual designing, jewel-like finish, and famous craftsmanship. See these preferred compacts tomorrow in silver finish, costume colors, jeweler's bronze, and sterling silver at your favorite store. And see Elgin American's exciting new companion line of compacts, American Beauty, priced as low as $2.95. Remember, for perfect Easter gifts, for your own Easter peak of perfection, the very finest in compacts carry America's #1 compact name, Elgin American.
Now, let's see if you two will get a chance at the $1,500 question. You're going to play You Bet Your Life. Fenneman, tell them the rules.
Each of our three couples has $20. They bet as much of that 20 as they want on each of 4 questions. The couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,500 question at the end of the show. Our other 2 couples are in a waiting room off stage, so they won't know what goes on until it's their turn.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. What question category did you select?
Name the states.
That's right.
Name the state, north or south.
Now, north or south. That's right. Now, here's your first question. How much you going to bet?
$10.
$10? That all right with you, Grandma? What state is immediately north of California?
That's Oregon.
Oregon is right.
On the way, they have $30.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of the 30 are you going to try this time?
20.
20? What state is directly south of Iowa?
Just a second. I know that south of Iowa is, first comes Minnesota, Iowa, and then comes Kansas. Let's see, Iowa,
One question, one answer between you now. Talk it over. Take a stab at it.
That's Illinois.
No, I'm sorry. The answer is Missouri. You should have known that.
They now have $10.
You now have $10, and here's your third question. How much of the 10 are you going to fly for?
10.
All right. What state is north of South Dakota?
The north of South Dakota is North Dakota.
North Dakota is right.
On the way again, they have $20.
All right, you're on your way. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 20 are you going to go for?
Might as well bet it all.
Going to bet the 20? What state is south of Oklahoma?
South of Oklahoma is Texas.
Texas is on the nose.
And they wind up with $40.
Don't forget, you each won an Apollo sound movie projector for saying the secret word. Congratulations and good luck from Elgin American Compacts. Stick around now. You're still in the running for the big question.
Perhaps the next couple will say the secret word, Groucho. It's wall. They've been in a waiting room off stage. Okay, boys, bring them in. Just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected a baseball player and an umpire from among several we invited to the show tonight. And here they come. Umpire Lou Barber and player Phil Cavarretta. Meet Groucho Marx.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Elgin American Show. And if you say the secret word at any time we're talking, you will each win a 16-millimeter Apollo sound movie projector. It's a common word, something you'll find around the house. Hiya, Phil. I saw you Sunday at Wrigley Field.
I saw you last night.
All right, that's right. Now, you see me tonight. Now, an umpire. You're the umpire, huh? Lou Barber, is that the way you pronounce it?
That's right.
Huh? Man without a country, huh? A man without a country, a social leper. Where are you from, Lou?
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. And, Phil, where are you from?
Chicago, Illinois.
You're really playing for your hometown, huh?
Yes, I am.
What team do you play for? This is for their information, not mine, huh?
Chicago Cubs.
Chicago Cubs. Huh? How do you feel about being in last place all season last year?
That was mighty damn, believe me.
Yeah. You've been in the cellar so long, you could qualify as a finance expert.
Just about.
And what's your position on the team?
First base.
As if I didn't know. This is your first year on that sack, though, isn't it? Weren't you in the outfield? Well, they had Waitkus last year, didn't they?
In and out. I was in first base, and I played outfield once in a while.
You don't have to show off, Phil. And umpire, what's your position?
I'm an umpire.
I see. Horizontal, huh? Now, you don't have to apologize. You're among friends here, you know. We frisked them all for pop bottles before they came in here tonight. Are you married, Lou?
Yes, sir.
Any little robbers at home?
I got one 3 years old.
One little thief, huh? What does your wife think of umpires?
Well, she likes me.
That is not what I asked you. What does she think of umpires?
Well, she hates them like everybody else.
How'd you meet your wife, Lou?
Met her in church.
I didn't know umpires went to church. What do they do? Go there and confess their sins?
It's a sanctum, you know.
It's the inner sanctum. That's the only place they're liable to take a rap at you, huh? Well, how did you meet her, I mean? Were you,
Well, I just met her in church.
Well, did you meet all the girls in church?
No, not all of them.
Well, was she sitting near you?
Well, fairly close.
And what did you do? Did you flirt with her?
Well, we had mutual friends who introduced us afterwards.
You didn't flirt with her while the
Oh, no, nothing.
fellow was delivering this sermon up there? Huh? You were paying attention to the sermon?
Yes.
Oh, what a liar, huh? I guess once an umpire, always an umpire. Now, Phil, are you married?
Yes, I am.
Any little sad sacks at home?
I have 3 girls.
How'd you meet your wife? Did she throw you a fast curve?
Well, no, not exactly. I met her in a nightclub.
Are you a sucker for curves, then?
Yes, I am.
You are, huh? You met her in a nightclub? Was she performing there?
Yes, she was a professional dancer.
She was a dancer,
That's
huh?
right.
And this was in Chicago?
In Chicago.
Where? Chez Paris?
Well, not exactly, no. One of the night spots.
And? You were out sitting out front?
I was having a Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. And? What happened?
Well, I was introduced through a friend of mine, and I liked her looks. And I asked her for a date. She accepted.
By this time, you'd had the Coca-Cola, I suppose.
Oh, yes.
Well, how long were you going together before she tagged you out at home?
Well, not too long.
You're from the Cubs, all right. Always getting caught off base. Huh? How long have you been playing professional baseball, if you'll pardon the expression, huh?
Well, I've been at it 15 years.
15 years. Where'd you start in, Phil?
I started down in Peoria, Illinois.
Pabst Brewery, huh?
Pretty good town.
You were a busher there, huh? And
All
then
the
you
way.
went from there where?
To the Chicago Cubs.
You went right to the Cubs and there? You never played out here at all, huh?
No, sir.
Well, you'll get here sooner or later, Sonny. When you're too old to walk, they'll finally nail you for Hollywood, huh? We have a home, an outdoor home for old ball players. Now, what was your most exciting experience on a ball field?
Well, it was my first year with the Cubs. This is in 1935, and I was just 17 years of age. And we were playing the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis.
A rough team then, huh?
You said it. And
was Hornsby with them then?
no,
Frisch?
Frisch was, yes. And we had a 5-game series, and we needed 2 games to cinch the pennant. So in the first game, I was fortunate enough to hit a home run, and we won 1-0 to cinch a tie. And the next day, we went out to beat Dizzy Dean, and we cinched the pennant.
He wasn't fogging them down that day, huh?
Well, he was burning them in, but he was just hitting our bats.
That isn't the way Dizzy would tell that. Well, Lou, umps here. What made you decide to become an umpire? Do you just naturally hate people? Or...
Well, I played a little baseball. In fact, I was a pitcher at one time.
Uh-huh.
And it just turned out to be easier to call them out than get them out.
Well, that's a very wise decision. What was your most unusual experience as a crook?
It happened last season. We had man hit a home run.
Who? Let's not be so ambiguous here, huh?
One of the visiting players, it so happened, in a playoff. And
why are you so reluctant to identify him? Huh?
Contrary to the opinion of everybody in the stands, in fact, everybody in the city of Dayton, Ohio, it happened to be, the ball was foul in their opinion, but not in the opinion of the umpire. And it took the management foresight, I'd say, get 3 squads of police to get us out of town.
Well, let that be a lesson to you, huh? Now, how long have you been making bum decisions? And what league are you working for now?
I'm in the Pacific Coast League
Oh,
now.
in the Pacific. You mean you're going to have to watch Hollywood next year, too?
That's right, I'm going to have...
Well, at least you get paid for it, huh? And believe me, you earn every nickel you get. Well, we have something for each of you. Elgin American's handsome silver-finished cigarette case, and here you are.
Thank you very much.
Now, Phil Cavarretta, what do you do during the winter?
Well, I have 3 youngsters at home that keep me pretty busy during the winter months. And
You have no other occupation?
Well, at the present, no.
Well, what are you planning to do? I mean, when your baseball days are over?
Well, I hope to stay in baseball.
Permanently?
I'd like to manage someday or maybe coach.
Uh-huh. Well, I understand you're a pretty shrewd cookie. According to Charlie Grimm, I was talking to him last night. He says you're quite a fellow. He says you're always in perfect condition. He says you never need any Take any weight off, no blubber in the spring or anything.
Well, it's my living, and that's the way I look at it. I like
Well.
to stay in shape.
You're a very smart fellow, and you got a nice shape, too, huh? Do you ever get angry at the umpire, Phil?
Well, once in a while.
Huh? You get annoyed? Well, when you come screaming in from the infield to protest a decision, just what do you say to the umpire? Now, remember.
Sir?
Phil, you don't have to go any further, huh? The rest of it is kind of Truman talk, huh? You say, sir, isn't it possible that there's been some mistake, I suppose?
That's right, exactly.
And somebody brings the umpire a glass of water because I'm sure he's fainted by this time. Now, what do you really think of umpires? I mean, seriously.
Well, seriously, I believe they're really swell fellas. I mean, they have a job to do out there just like the ball players have. If they miss a decision, it's through no fault of theirs. They call them as they see them. And off the field, they're really a bunch of swell fellas, and they really deserve more credit than they get, believe me. I mean it.
Well, that's a very nice tribute, umpire. Now, later on tonight, you can tell me what you really think of it. You see, we have to be careful what we say here. This isn't being broadcast from Texas. This is not NBC. Now, astigmatism, tell me, suppose you're behind the plate and you get a cinder in your eye just as the pitcher throws the ball. How would you miscall it?
Well, I've still got my other eye. Call it the way I see it.
Well, could you see with one eye? I mean?
Oh, definitely.
Suppose you got a cinder in both eyes. How would you call it?
Just call it the way it is.
Have you had your eyes tested lately?
Certainly.
And how's your vision?
20/20.
That's right. Seeing double, all right. Now, suppose you made a bad decision and realized it immediately. What do? Change your mind and flash a winning smile?
We never make mistakes.
Well, there's two schools of thought on that subject. Yours and the rest of the world. How do you feel about that last immortal statement, Phil?
I wasn't listening, Mr.
Well, you're very polite umpires, Phil. Of course, you haven't got your bat right with you right now, huh? Now, tell me, Dillinger, it's your turn at the plate. What have you got to say in defense of umpires?
Well, it's a pretty good racket from the
You regard it as a racket, huh?
standpoint of ours. It's put into the occupation. And you do have to be in good physical condition. You've got to know all your rules. You have to have good judgment.
And running shoes.
Well, yes.
I agree with you all the way. Now, umpire, I've often thought I'd like to be in your shoes. Pretend I'm coming to you for a job as an umps. Now, you go ahead and interview me.
Well, if you got good judgment.
Well, I had a judgment against me last week.
Can you make snap decisions?
Shoot a mighty good game of craps.
You know all the rules in the book.
I think most of them, yes.
Well, now, if you had a man on first base.
I'd rather have a woman if you can.
Pitcher.
Let's say it's a man, huh?
Man on first base.
Yeah.
The pitcher starts his throw to the plate and drops the ball. What's your decision?
I'd say it was a ball.
It's a
I'd
ball.
give him a base on balls.
Definitely no.
Definitely no. What would you do?
It's a balk.
It's a balk, huh?
A balk.
I see. Well, that's one wrong, huh? Go on from there. That's only the first inning, you know. Huh?
Have you ever been arrested?
Well, the Los Angeles police don't arrest anybody. They just pick them up and let them go. That's it.
Have you got good eyesight?
Well, I just wear these glasses to hang my nose on. That's all. Well, how about it? Do I get the job?
No.
Why not?
Umps still wear glasses.
Well, I could take them off and be just as blind as the next umpire. Well, boys, it was very instructive and pleasant having you here. You know, I'm quite a ball fan myself. Now, let's play You Bet Your Life. Now we're getting down to the serious stuff. You got to run your $20 into more than the other couples, and you get a chance at the $1,500 question. Is that clear to you, boys?
Yes, sir.
Now, Fenneman, remind our listeners how much the first couple won. Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. What question category did you select?
Song of the season.
Songs about the various seasons, huh? Here's your first question. How much you going to bet on the 20?
$10.
Don't often see an umpire and a ball player chatting like that. $10?
$10.
$10. Give me the title of this seasonal song. Play, Jerry.
Summertime.
Summertime is on the nose.
They're off to a great start. They have $30.
Phil didn't waste much time in that nightclub in Chicago, I can see. Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of the 30 are you going to try for this time?
15.
All right, what's the name of this song?
Springtime in the
Right.
Rockies.
What is the rest of it?
Springtime in the Rockies.
Springtime in the Rockies is on the nose.
Now they have $45.
Look at them. They're even shaking hands tonight. That shows you what $30 will do. Huh? Now then, you have 45. Let's see if you can identify this seasonal song. How much of the 45 you going for?
25.
25. Remember, you're going for the big money tonight. Now, $25. I don't want to influence you. Play it, Jerry.
Something about Are You Listening?
Winter Wonderland.
Winter Wonderland is right.
Now they have $70.
All right, you got the bases loaded now and a big sticker at the bat. Here comes. You got $70. How much you going to go for this time?
We hit
$40.
You got to clean the bases in order to come home with the dough now. Here it is. Give me the title of this song for $40.
In the good old summertime.
And they wind up with $110.
All right, you nicked me for 110 smackers. Thanks and good luck from Elgin American Compacts. Now, in just 1 minute, our last couple will play You Bet Your Life, and then we know who gets the chance at the $1,500 question. Well, Fenneman, just don't stand there. Say something.
All right.
I'm full of dextrine tonight, huh? Among other things, huh? Go ahead, Fenneman.
Yes, I was going to say that men,
Say
too.
it, huh?
I was going to say men, too, are on dress parade Easter Sunday. And the man with
That's
the new
Hop-along
Elgin...
Fenneman, huh?
Okay. All right. Men, too, are on dress parade Easter Sunday. And the man with the new Elgin American cigarette case, or cigarette case and lighter to match, has the handsome, well-turned-out appearance Easter calls for. You'll feel a definite lift, an emphatic sense of satisfaction, when you smoke or offer cigarettes and a light the Elgin American way. And prices are easy on the wallet. See these smoking accessories for the well-dressed man tomorrow. They're precision perfect. Come in masculine designs, beautifully finished in silver, jeweler's bronze, and sterling silver, and make Easter gifts beyond compare. Any man has every reason to throw his chest out further on Easter when he's the proud owner of a handsome new cigarette case or cigarette case and lighter to match by Elgin American.
We'll soon know who's going to earn the most money tonight and get the chance at the $1,500 question. George, who's ahead so far?
Well, the baseball player and the umpire are ahead with $110. And here's our final couple. They've been in a waiting room off stage, so they don't know the secret word is wall. Okay, boys, bring them in. We invited some circus people to the show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected a sideshow barker, Dave Murphy, and a circus bill poster, Francis Kitzman. And here they are. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to the Elgin American Show. Welcome to the Elgin American Show. And if you say the secret word at any time we're talking, you'll each win a 16-millimeter Apollo sound movie projector. It's a common word, something you'll find around the house. Mr. Dave Murphy, you're the circus barker, eh?
That's right, Groucho.
Barker for the... which circus do you do your barking?
Clyde Beatty's world's largest trained wild animal circus, now playing in Los Angeles at Washington and Hill. Performances at 2:30 and 8. Doors open an hour earlier.
I want you to realize we also sell Elgin American compact cameras. Are you married, Dave?
Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. Any little foghorns around the house?
No.
How'd you meet your wife, huh?
Well, she was out on the Midway one day and listening to me spiel about the oddities and curiosities, and apparently she liked the way I talked because later on we met, took her inside, and she's been listening to me talk ever since.
And you listen to her talk, too?
Frequently.
Bill Poster Kitzman, Francis Kitzman, is that right?
That's right, George.
You're also from the Clyde Beatty Circus?
Yes, sir, I am.
Just what do you do for the circus?
Well, I advertise, post bills, and decorate barns, windows, and walls, and whatever I run into.
There we go again. You said wall, and that's the secret word tonight. So you each win an Apollo 16-millimeter sound movie projector. The walls are really talking tonight, huh? Now back to the business at hand. Tell me honestly now, is it a very good circus, Mr. Kitzman?
Well, Clyde Beatty Circus is really one of the best, tops and everything.
Mm-hmm. How about taking me in with you Saturday night, huh?
I never go to the circus.
Is it that bad?
It's very good. However, I'm always 3-4 weeks ahead of the circus.
I see. Huh? And as a bill poster, just what do you do? You paste signs around town? Huh?
Well, that's really all I do. Paste signs all over town.
That's all. And have you ever had an interesting experience posting bills?
Lots of them, several, you bet.
Could you tell us one briefly?
Well, this one really happened last summer. I was up somewhere around Portland.
Portland, Oregon?
Portland, Oregon. And I was posting bills.
There's another one, you know, married to Fred Allen.
Well, that's right. Well, I managed to get permission from a garage man to post some bills in the back room of his garage. So I put Clyde Beatty all over. Lions, tigers, and everything. Made it look beautiful. So I went back to Portland that night, and the next noon, here this garage man's looking for me. I thought, well, I made a friend of him. I know I give him passes. Can't be that. So he was mad. And he says, Kitzman, I want you to come back to my garage. I want to show you something. I think you're going to be responsible. So I didn't know what it could be. So I go out there, and I see that tigers and lions had holes in them. I didn't think nothing of it. And he says, well, now here this morning, 3 or 4 boys are here with 22 rifles. And they were shooting at the lions and tigers. They was hunting them. Mm-hmm. And just come inside my garage. They shot a tractor plumb full of holes, ruined the radiator and the motor and everything. Ruined a brand new tractor.
Uh-huh. Well, and did you reimburse him for this damage?
Well,
or did you beat it out of town? Huh?
Well, I did really beat it, no, but he didn't really hold me for it.
He didn't?
No, but
He
I gave him a few more
thrown
passes.
in the can, didn't he?
I think that's what he intended to do.
Oh. You must have had many narrow escapes like that.
Plenty. Comes up every day.
Now, Mr. Murphy, what was your most unusual experience with the circus?
Well, I'd say the most unusual that comes to mind right now is trying to get 2 drunken midgets home to a hotel.
Well, 2 drunken midgets, that's just the same as 1 regular man, isn't it? Shouldn't have been so difficult. What were they drunk on, short beers? And what happened?
Well, we started for the hotel and they were reasonably sober, but it was quite late at night, and apparently all the world loves a midget. And,
well, that's debatable. Huh?
Any place we stopped that was selling the stuff, they got their share. They didn't pay for any, but they got their share. And then I have to be a spoil sport and try to get them to go home.
Yes.
That doesn't work at all.
No. So?
Well, then they don't walk so good.
No.
And if you've ever seen a midget stumble around, it's funny.
Did you finally get them into bed?
Yes.
Both in one bed, I
Yes,
suppose.
sir.
Are you married, Bill Poster?
Yes, sir, you bet.
And does your wife go along with you on these
She
trips?
travels right with me with the circus.
In the,
On the
how do you
job.
travel, huh?
We travel in a trailer.
In a trailer.
Big
huh?
house trailer.
It's like a honeymoon, huh?
Well, regular honeymoon, you bet.
Anybody else in the trailer with you? Huh?
Well, from 10 to 15.
That is not my idea of a honeymoon. How did you meet your wife, Mr. Kitson?
How'd I meet the wife?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
No, I'd say old girl. Huh?
Oh, girl, yeah.
How did you meet her?
Well, I was in some town in a town in Minnesota, and I was decorating the buildings up for circus pictures. And
Don't tell me you slapped a 3-sheet on her.
well, I was figured out that when I see her, she was across the street in a restaurant waiting on a table,
Yeah.
and she was admiring our handiwork. We was decorating in first-class shape, and
Mm-hmm.
so the other
She's an
fellow-
art lover, isn't she?
art lover, animals, you know, what that's putting out. So the
She
fellow-
liked animals and married you, is that it?
I believe that must be something to that.
So what happened?
Well,
She was
when we
slinging
got-
hash and
she
you were
was slinging-
pasting up
I'm slinging the paste, that's right. So when we got through, we went across the restaurant, thought we kibitzed a little bit and talked to her, and we had a little pie and coffee, I guess. And when we got through, instead of tipping her, we slipped her a couple of tickets for the circus. See? So she thought, that fellow's all right, he's a big shot, so... And, so during the conversation, I see she went for it a little bit. Why, I made a little date with her that night to go to a dance. So we've been traveling the circus ever since.
And did you give her any paste or anything?
Well, I don't know.
Did you ever give her a paste after an argument?
Well, I might have give her a little pastry once in a while, yes.
Well, we have some gifts for you. For Barker, we have an Elgin American compact of sterling silver with 14-karat gold engraving. Your wife will love it. And for Bill Poster Kitzman, a sterling silver compact just like it.
Thank you.
Now, Barker, I'm sorry I've been neglecting you. I've been barking up the wrong tree here. But as a sideshow Barker, just what do you do?
Well, Groucho, it's my job to stand out in front of the sideshow on the midway and attempt to lure the customers into the show.
Well, how do you lure the suckers inside? You just drop one shoulder strap and wink at them?
No, we attempt to tell them truthfully just what's going on inside the tent and make them want to come in.
Huh? Well, after you trap these poor schnooks into your moth-eaten tent,
Oh,
what happens after you get them in there?
well, then we go around from stage to stage and explain each attraction in turn.
Mm-hmm. Now, what attractions do you have in your sideshow besides the customers, huh?
Oh, the midgets and the giant, the fat boy and the tattooed lady, the sword swallower, the anatomical wonder.
And
all
the drunken
about-
midgets, huh? Could you tell me about the tattooed lady? Pretend I'm outside gawking at the pictures, and you try to get me inside. Now, you toss off the spiel, and let's see if I would be impressed.
On this stage, ladies and gentlemen, we introduce Lady Gilda, the tattooed wonder, covered all over through every inch of her anatomy with pictures, historical representations, of famous paintings.
That's the place to see him, all right. Now, Pastepot, let's get back to you. As a bill poster, what are some of the hazards of your job?
Well, the main hazard is it's very hard to put a poster up in the wind. It wraps you up and it blows away. And
You mean the 24 sheets?
24 sheets, yeah.
That's about as big as, about the size of that Elgin American sign up there, isn't it?
Well, that's about an 8-sheet.
Is that about an 8
That's about an 8-sheet.
I used to 3-sheet in front of theaters, but Now, Barker, why don't they have circus parades anymore?
Well, they've become impossible to handle in modern-day traffic, Groucho.
I see, huh? Afraid the elephants will get run over? The animals afraid of the horns and the tooting and the automobiles and everything?
It's usually the chief of police who's a little afraid of the traffic problem.
Well, at the moment, he's pretty busy, you know. Now, speaking of parades, I was in one last Sunday, the Parade magazine, and it was the first time I was ever in a parade and not following one. Do you have any man-eating lines, Barker?
Well, Clyde Beatty features 40 ferocious lions and tigers.
40. Count them, you're supposed to say. I once saw a man eating lion. He said it wasn't very good, though. Have any of your wild animals ever escaped, Mr. Murphy?
Not recently, Groucho. At least I've never been around one had.
Well, you never been around when a lion escaped out of the cage?
No, sir, I'm sorry.
Well, tell me, Sideshow, I've always wanted to be with a circus. Could you find an opening for me? I mean, besides the one I usually use under the tent.
Well, we're always in the market for another curiosity.
Well, shake hands with your new anatomical freak, huh? Only 2 of us in the world have never been photographed in a bathing suit, and you'll never get Truman. Well, I've learned that life with a circus isn't always a circus. Now, let's see how you work together as a team for $1,500. You're the last couple to play You Bet Your Life. Beat the other 2 couples, and you get the $1,500 question. Can't tell you how much the others won, but George is off stage to remind our listeners. Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. What question category did you select?
Nicknames of musical instruments.
That's right. Very good, Bob. Now, here's your first question. How much of the 20 are you going to try?
We'll go for 10.
10? Is that all right with you,
That's all right
Francis?
with me, yes, sir.
What instrument is known as the licorice stick?
The clarinet.
Clarinet is on the nose.
They have $30.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of the 30 are you going to try for?
How about 20 kits?
That'll be okay, I believe.
20 kits is all right with you?
Fine.
I thought he only had 2 kits. Now you say he's got 20 kits, huh? What instrument is known as the 88?
The piano.
The piano.
They now have $50.
All right, you're climbing up. You now got $50. Here's your third question. How much are you going to go for?
You take it, Bill.
Well, better make it 35.
35.
All right, what instrument is known as the woodpile?
The xylophone.
Xylophone is done.
And now they have $85.
You've now climbed up to $85, and here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 85 will you risk?
Let's make it 65.
65, is that all right with you, Mr.
That's
Kitzman?
going pretty good.
What instrument is known as the doghouse?
The bull fiddle.
The bull fiddle is right.
And they wind up with $150. And that means that they, the Barker and the Bill Poster, with their $150, get the chance at the $1,500 question. Remember, America's #1 name in compacts, Elgin American, is also the name men can trust for handsome cigarette cases and lighter ensembles. Easter just isn't Easter without these preferred accessories. Remember, too, Elgin American's brand new companion line, American Beauty, sensational buys. As low as $2.95 for compacts, $3.95 for cigarette cases. At Easter time, at all times, the best-dressed men and women carry accessories by Elgin American. And here's the winning couple, the Barker and the Bill Poster.
Well, back again to try for $1,500 of Elgin American's dollars, eh? Good luck. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you, so talk it over thoroughly and no help from the audience, please. Here it is for $1,500 in cash. You learned this in school. See if you remember it. For $1,500. Which of the 13 original states was first to ratify the Constitution in 1787? What is the answer you two have decided upon?
Massachusetts.
No, I'm sorry. The answer is Delaware, the state of Delaware. So that means the big question next week will be worth $2,000. You've been a wonderful team, and in addition to the 16-millimeter Apollo Sound movie projector you each won, you also earned $150 in cash in the quiz. Congratulations, and thanks to both of you.
The Elgin American Show, You Bet Your Life, is a John Goodell production. Transcribed from Hollywood, directed by Bob Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. Remember, next week's big question pays $2,000. Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this time for You Bet Your Life, starring Groucho Marx, presented by the creators of America's most beautiful compacts, smartest cigarette cases, and finest dresser sets, Elgin American.
Good night, folks. Have you looked at your compact lately?